Our next talk is one I'm pretty excited about. It's from a guy from MultiNFT. Uh, Basically, the music industry totally missed Web 2. It was totally late. But in Web 3, we are the first ones to move things along. There are tons of projects from audios doing streaming platforms and many others. And Multi is one of them. So say hello to Guy who presents and tell everything about it.
Yeah, all right. How you guys doing? Thanks everyone for coming today. We're going to be talking a bit about metaverse and the connection between NFTs and the use cases in the metaverse. Um, okay, let's start with a little question. By a show of hands, who here owns an NFT? Anyone? Yeah, that's more than 50%. That's better than usual. Great. And one last thing, one last question. By show of hands again, who here has ever stepped into the metaverse? Right? Okay, that's a much smaller group. Right. So many people get confused about what the metaverse is. I'll start by telling a bit about ourselves. Okay, we started back in 2018. Basically, before this thing was called metaverse, it was called crypto gaming. All right. So before people gave this name of metaverse, it was all about just connecting in virtual space, playing a game, and then people started to add crypto as incentive, as another layer to the games, economy, whatever. And pretty quickly, the big minds in the room started to pay attention and realize that gaming, it's kind of about competitive play as an excuse for social interaction, right? So people log in to play World of Warcraft, or they log in to play whatever, Call of Duty, and they spend hours talking to their friends over the earpiece. And later on, people just realized that we better put the social experience in the middle, right? So that's what Metaverse is about. And when we started, we were mostly about gaming because we didn't have a big clue where this is going. But we were pretty sure that this is going to be a big thing, yeah? And fast forward 4 years, the industry has exploded, right? Everybody here in the room knows what NFTs are today. But let's still shed some light on the use cases of NFTs and how this connects to the metaverse, okay? So some examples, right? New possibilities that are made from this whole thing. So first of all, the metaverse is a new playground for developers and people to interact in a semi-permissionless way, I would say. It's not 100% permissionless, right? Because some of these platforms are still relatively centralized, okay? But of course, compared to Fortnite or to Blizzard, Activision Gaming, it's not as centralized, yeah? So people can build experiences and anybody can interact with them. That's cool. Another cool thing about NFTs in particular is this new medium, okay? This new medium for exchange and a new medium for artists to express themselves. And I don't want to sound cheesy or quiche here, yeah? But this medium was called out for so many years, for tens of years, for hundreds of years. The arts industry has this big barrier in front of it of tastemakers and publishers and, you know, Sotheby's and Christie's and all these houses who decide in the end what is real art, you know? And for the first time in history, the users decide, the collective decide. The people who open their web and just browse, they decide, and they get to vote with money, right? So we have this new reality where people can try to create something and others can really try and come and value it. No games, no middleman, right? So that's great. Another thing I want to talk about today, and something that we focus on MultiNFT, is the need for different platforms, all right? So we have Decentraland. Who here heard about Sandbox? Everybody, right? Yeah, I mean, everybody should have, if you're here today. But I guess my point is there are multiple metaverses platforms. Okay, some of them already have market cap of single billions of dollars. Some of them have just, you will see 10 users online maximum, right? So some of them are really in their diapers, how we say, and some of them are a bit more big on the user base and on the financial side. But the point is, there are many different use cases and reasons to explore different platforms. Okay, so Decentraland, it's very widely accepted already. It has a fan base. If you want to launch something, you want to have a launch party for your project, you can get a venue in the metaverse. That's one thing that we do also in MultiNFT. I'll touch on that soon. But you have the chance to reach a lot of people, basically. That's why you go to Decentraland. I mean, many people go to Decentraland to meet with their friends, to go to a party, but they definitely don't go there for the high definition graphics, right? If you've seen it, you would know what I'm talking about. Right, so the same can be said for Sandbox, right? Sandbox is a great platform. It has I think 4 billion in market cap right now, something like that. But you can't even load a video. So any asset that you want to add to your build, it costs you something. You need to lose value to build anything, and it's not so open. So it's kind of centralized. But you would go there for some game development experience, you know, some curated game experience. So each platform has its limitation, but it also has some purpose, right? So we try to focus on bringing the maximum utility in the right platform, or help project choose the right platform to launch a party or to do some event, right? Okay, so wait, before I go back, I want to finish the last point. Digital gatherings, okay, and the future of entertainment in this digital age. So right now, we've seen this big halt in the entertainment industry in the last 2 years because of pandemic. Everybody knows this, right? So Metaverse came as a little, I don't know, accelerator to this trend that people want to do less and take less commitment, but they want to get more, right? People don't want to leave the house. People don't want to commit to something, but they still want to earn. They still want to have some experience, but they're not willing to commit as they used to be willing, right? So times are changing. People still want to go out. People still wanted to have life cycle events, celebrate things, and the metaverse kind of helped. It was the first playground for this, you know. We saw everybody jump into Zoom. You know, 2 years ago, if you would ask me, one of my companies that was working or managing, can I work from home? Can we do this meeting on Zoom? I would probably fire you, right? But I don't know, 72 hours after the pandemic shut down everything, Zoom was the new protocol. Everybody must have Zoom, right? Everybody were having sessions, how to use Zoom in their companies. So this relatively the same thing is happening with the metaverse, and it's picking up. We've seen Meta, right, making a big play on this, and making this collaboration space, right? It's mostly aimed at the B2B and workspace. So anyway, these events that used to be only R&R in real life are starting to shift towards the digital. And that's very interesting. We try to capture a piece of that in MultiNFT and also make that more accessible, all right? So we can skip that a bit. Yeah. Right, so inside these events, there's this new thing that we can do nowadays, okay? And that's turn active users into a community, right? You heard this probably many times, this phrase, NFT community, right? It's been tossed just as a I don't know, marketing phrase. But in all honesty, when we started in 2018, it was one of the first NFT communities. And people were just looking for a safe space to experiment all these things, you know? They were trying to find a place where they can be a part of something. They didn't even understand, we didn't even understand that this is what it's going to be. That it's going to be segmented communities across different sectors, you know, gaming, clubbing, tech, finance. You have these DAOs now that are compiled from NFT collections and not from token holders, you know. So that's a new thing, that's a new democratic thing happening in the blockchain right now, and it's very exciting. So what I want to say about proof of attendance protocol is this is a great example of how we managed to take an NFT and kind of turn it upside down on its head. You know, instead of an asset that you chase, that you purchase, or what I mentioned when I said in my intro about the medium thing, a Pope, it's the sort of bracelet that you give to your attendee, you know, kind of reward. But this basic proof of attendance, it can be used for many things. So you can take all these participants in your event. Let's say you're a DeFi project, you make a launch party, you make also a metaverse launch party, and you invite a bunch of people from your community, from your Telegram, from your Discord. You invite them to a party, and they all get an NFT just for attending, you know? So this NFT by itself, you can give it some utility, of course, yeah, blah, blah. But the main point is, you now have a group of people who are all identified by a linking factor. They've all been to the same event or several events, and they're now part of your community. And you can turn them into community by deploying things over them, over these addresses, because you got their addresses the moment that they participated, right? So a lot of the things that we do with this is that we create incentive systems, right? Users want to keep coming to the events because they want to be part of the next incentive idea that we're going to roll out, right? And the thing about NFTs is this, it has now this new hype feel to it, which makes everybody kind of speculators in the space, you know? Nobody really knows where this is going. We all know that this is a great infrastructure and rails for innovation and information anarchy and all these great things that blockchain is built on. But using NFTs as a tool to create a community and then segment this community in some relevant sector, and you're able to deploy things to them. So that's the way we see it, at least, at MultiNFT. Earlier I mentioned a couple of platforms. Just a second, okay? We'll have a couple of questions. So we mentioned a couple of platforms. These are the platforms that MultiNFT are currently own parcels on, operate venues on. We are building a little multiverse of events and curated spaces where people can come, connect their wallet on our dashboard, and just rent the land directly from us. So it's permissionless. You don't need to be a landlord or to buy or to get into this whole thing. You can rent the land, make your event, move on. And we think this is going to be a big thing if it's presented well, you know? Because like I said earlier, all these platforms, they serve some purpose. But if you don't know what you're choosing, you don't know where you're going, then you're probably not going to have the result that you anticipated from your event. If you're going to have a metal concert in Sandbox, then it's going to look like Minecraft, and I don't think anybody's going to attend to that. Even the band is not going to be happy, right? But we try to tailor the platform to the event or the platform to the project, right? So sometimes we have conferences, such as today, right? And many times we provide an after-party service for these events. Or some of these events are online and offline, so we also create for them a 3D space where they can have a stage, where they can have the media event, or they can have the actual speakers and exhibitors talk on stage. So it's mirrored. We're mirroring the event in the metaverse. So more people can participate, you know, from the international scene that can't make it to the event and whatever. So these are just some of the examples of today's active and already launched and live platforms that you can go and check out. And this is some examples of our lands, our venues, what we have right now, and our official partners. Now, I'm going to leave some room for questions before I continue. I think you had a question, right? 2 questions. Go ahead. How do we segment the community? Yeah, for sure. So it kind of depends on the niche or type of event that they are attending and they get their POAP for, this proof of attendance protocol token for, right? So if I do a techno, every Saturday night, for example, in the Rage Club, that's our venue inside Decentraland in the district festival district. That's the arts and music district in Decentraland. So we have an event every Saturday averaging over 1,000 users who come just to party techno, right? So every week I have this list of people who will keep collecting the same style of token, right? So I know what this segment is. These guys come for the music, they come for techno, right? So I probably wouldn't deploy gaming NFT on them, right? But on another platform, or I don't know, on crypto voxels, and somebody comes and just want to try and check everything in the gallery and what's the hottest trending NFT on our display. We have a wall display some NFTs and ranking, right? So if these guys keep coming every Tuesday or Thursday to listen to the lectures and whatever, I'm also not going to deploy techno NFT on them or music. Understand? Right. I said you had a second question? Oh yeah. So back in 2018, when Maxi started making the first partnerships for multi-NFT, back in the day it was called Crypto and Gamers. So we had a lot of functional and experimental partnerships, right? So some of them were hardware. We were trying to find some new use cases where we can, just tie the knots together. This is the most Israeli thing, tying the knots together, finding the people with the platform and finding the people with the hardware and the user in the middle and just making a loop for that, right? So Syrian Labs was a play for making wallet accessible on the phone, interactable directly with engine games and other games that we are partners with and stuff like that, like Oxy and whatever. Any other questions? You can ask anything about metaverse and NFTs, or if you have anything in mind at all. Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, for sure. Funny thing that you mentioned that. Before coming here, we spoke. I came from Barcelona. I spoke with one of the organizers, and I said, "Hey, man, you have a proof of attendance token at the end of this thing, right?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. It doesn't take too long to make him." But I don't think they went on into. Yeah, I didn't see any QRs that I can scan and get something for free. Yeah. Is that a Pope? So that's your answer right there. And the way that I'm going to do it, how I'm going to gift you, there's not even going to be a QR here. The QR in the end is just links for us. I'm going to go to their Pope, and I have everyone in this event who participated and received this NFT. And this is public. This is on the blockchain, right? So I can now take this community, this segment, and I can drop gifts for you. Be sure you're going to get an NFT. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So thankfully, some of the platforms already made it much more accessible and easier. So it used to be that you need to have a Web3 wallet, right? Like a web extension wallet like MetaMask. And you have to buy a user if you want to save items and stuff like this. Nowadays, it's much simpler. In Decentraland, or also in crypto voxels, you can just log in with a link directly into the world from your browser, drops you into the world. If you click on guest, you don't need a wallet, you don't need anything. It just drops you directly on the location, like teleports you. If you want to earn something, let's say we had the festival, the Metaverse Festival, the first Metaverse Festival. I actually wanted to play video from that today, but that didn't work out. So there was few tens of thousands of people attending every day for 4 days. Only at our stage, it was like 6,500 just Pope tokens were claimed, right? People that were like sharp and got the tokens. But it was tens of thousands of people attending every day. And the big conversion from just a passive user who tries to click and doesn't have a wallet, no barriers, right? He just comes. The big conversion moment was the giveaways, these incentives, right? So people came to the Paris Hilton concert or to Deadmau5, those big names in this festival, and you dance around, and if you are logged in with a wallet from your browser, you've signed the transaction and you're logged in with a wallet, then you have the chance to be dropped an NFT during any of these concerts. So people walk around dancing digitally, right? We're gonna get there that you can actually dance, I'm sure. But for now, you just click some emotes and you dance, and all of a sudden, some shiny box appears like in a video game, and you can go and you can interact with it. So for example, from our team, somebody got a tiara or something from Paris Hilton. Next morning, sold on OpenSea for $8,500, right? So that will give you an incentive to keep coming to concerts and to log in with your wallet, not just to be a guest, right? And the second thing, it gives you an identity. The moment that you have some avatars and you have some PFPs and whatever, you have your identity and you want to use it, you want to use your wearables, your skins and whatever. So the moment that you are converted, there is no turning back and going back to being a guest user, on all these platforms. I hope that answers your question. Any more questions? Metaverse, NFT, anything, guys? I was expecting a lot of questions, but it seems like the information has been seeping down, It's amazing. 2 years ago, when we started to make a shift from being a publication to a product company, we were shocked and awe from how much this was accepted, how much this industry has been adopted. And we started as a publication because we wanted to accelerate this vision. And we held assets because we were promoting people, so we got to reap some benefits. But we were always about accelerating the adoption of this, and I think what we're doing today as a curator of events and as an event production company in the metaverse, I think we're really helping to show how this has benefit, how this has merit, So really, guys, try inside your projects, to give NFTs some weight. It's not just the gimmick, it's not just these images or these secret clubs of JPEG holders, right? There is a depth behind it. It's kind of easy to miss it when you are lost in the noise of the industry. All these big pumps, right? And these very, very insane gains like that we've seen in the past 2 years. But the reality is that this is just an infrastructure for new innovation, okay? NFTs are very simple. They're just singular assets on the blockchain, right? Singular assets, they can be grouped to a collection, but they're just singular assets for the first time on the blockchain. That's what makes them non-fungible. And this brings a lot of opportunities. Okay, so some of the things that we've seen lately that have been exciting, at least for me, is the opportunity to share royalties, or you can issue music, or you can issue any type of media asset which is redeemable or it's spendable. And that's new. So you can have an NFT that is used for some specific thing, and then it kind of gets destroyed, or it turns into something else, it morphs, And you don't need to change anything, right? The blockchain is immutable. But you can always just add on. And that's beautiful. That's the beautiful thing about metadata and how NFTs work. Right, so just to summarize a few things, you have a question?
Yeah, how about, for example, if a project wants to get into the metaverse and move the NFT, how is the process to do that?
Sorry, what do you mean?
What's the process to get a new project into the NFT?
Right, so there are a few ways. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, sure. He asked how a project can get into the multi-NFT ecosystem, or how you can join. So the easiest way is to directly communicate with us, right? We are very open. Or you can do this permissionless. You can come and rent land, or you can apply to rent land and stuff like this, and you can already start operating inside our ecosystem. And the moment that you connect yourself to our popes, right, to our people who attend already our events, you kind of segment yourself to our community. You attach yourself to our community. So that's one way to do it. Or just like I said in the beginning, directly offer us just a partnership, I guess I would say, right? So we have a lot of partnerships. We had to take down a lot of it because it would seem irrelevant, but like you said, Siren Labs, right? So we try to make plays on multiple things, on fashion industry, and we have NFTs who are interchangeable, rarities and layers that can be changed, which is going to be used for, again, fashion or wearables or skins in the metaverse that are changeable. And also, you can use an NFT as an ID, right? Or it can be a ticket to an event. We've seen that. We actually been to a non-fungible conference in Lisbon last month, I think, or earlier this, yeah, in end of late April. And the ticket was an NFT. You would scan with your MetaMask, and this also allows you to have kind of club membership for your users. You know, imagine you go to a, I don't know, high-end luxury store like Louis Vuitton or something like that, right? Gucci. And you walk through the door, you just came back from the beach, whatever, with your dog or with your wife. But you spend 10, 20K every time you go to Gucci, right? So you walk in the store, nobody knows who you are. You have to wait by the door for this guy to open the door for you, and he doesn't know who you are. And you don't get the same treatment as you would get if they would know that a customer just stepped in my shop who spends 20, 30K average every day, every time he steps into the shop, right? So one of the things that we're developing right now is a kind of, working on developing right now is a kind of easily deployable club membership for high brands. So like you would have a QR in the entrance to your store or whatever, and the guy opens his MetaMask that he owns the NFT, he scans it, and the moment that he scans it, somebody gets a notification at the front desk of the shop, and he now knows who's this guy who's coming in, or at least he knows what he bought since he has this this NFT collection. And another thing is that if you own such an NFT membership, we would also make you a wearable replica of every item that you buy. So you buy sunglasses or you buy some shirt, you also get it as a wearable in a few metaverses. Right, so that's cool. And if you come without the NFT, then you will have to purchase separately the metaverse wearables. So those who are club members, whatever they buy in Louis Vuitton or in Gucci or in whatever Prada, they also get it in the metaverse. You understand? So there is an incentive to be a club member, to have a digital flex also, because there is a limit to how many people you can show your watch or your clothes on a day. But if you have an avatar or some NFT in your wallet that's worth, I don't know, whatever, then the whole community can see it, the whole social media can see it, everybody can see it basically. So it's a new digital flex. Yes?
So is this technology is currently available to use the platform, or is it?
What I mentioned specifically now, yeah, this is in development right now. Talking about the tech behind it, everything exists, right? This is all about laying down practical partnerships and the legal foundation for this, right? And marketing, that's it. The hard work, the real hard work is kind of, I don't know, 30% finished, like, 40% finished. And now there is the push for adoption, and after the push for adoption, everybody have to make the mistakes for 5-10 years so we can learn the lessons from it, like regulation and all those sort of things. Like you have DAOs, and people, everybody here knows what a DAO is, right? Like a decentralized autonomous organization. And some of these DAOs now shifting from a token ecosystem to an NFT ecosystem. So to try and preserve this democratic notion of a DAO. So it's not manipulatable if you have a higher stake or something like that. Everybody has the same voting power. So NFTs making a new bridge, just making a new bridge for people to try and carve a new segment of value, try to add a new layer to their existing project, or just use as a new method of certification and in a new brave way, I would say. So join us in the metaverse, guys. Don't be afraid. You can click the guest user at first, but I do not recommend you to do that because you might miss on some cool free shit. All right, thanks everyone. See you in the metaverse.